Is it recording?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Today we are going to discuss about there are two more concepts left for the second unit, that is analytical characterization and mining class comparisons. These two are the concepts that are left. And today we are going to discuss about the analytical characterization, and if possible, we will also complete the mining class comparisons. So analytical characterization, we have already come across this analysis of attribute relevance. When we were discussing about the attribute induction, attribute oriented induction, we have also come across of these topics. So let us go further. What is the difference between the normal online analytical processing system and the analytical analysis of attribute relevance, that is analytical characterization? What is the difference between these two? So usually the similarity and the differences we'll discuss here. The first, the similarity, both analytical characterization and the OLAP, they have got two similarities. That is the data presentation and the summarization. Both of them will do in the same way. And the cube operations like drilling, pivoting, slicing, and dicing. So the cube operations, data retrieval operations, are similar for both analytical characterization and the online analytical processing system. The major differences are for the analytical characterization, automated desired level allocation, which means that the processing of data based on the requirement, the automated desired level allocation will be carried out. And here the dimension relevance analysis will be done, where there are so many dimensions, and in those so many dimensions, based on the requirement, the part of the data will be selected for the analysis. And based on that selected data, the ranking will also be carried out. Okay. And this analytical characterization can also be denoted as data dispersion analysis. Then why are we going for attribute relevance analysis? We're talking about analytical characterization, and why are we going for attribute relevance analysis? And what is this attribute relevance analysis? So the first reason why are we going for attribute relevance analysis is here. For the attribute relevance analysis, we are going to include the dimensions also. As said already, dimensions, when you are saying different dimensions, so we can say informally we can say we are going to add multiple columns. Those columns include multiple attributes. So here multiple dimensions has to be included, which means multiple attributes have to be included. So based on the relevant attribute, the analysis should be taken place. That is why we should go for relevance analysis. And it depends on how high the generalization process is carried out. And sometimes it should be automatic, and sometimes it should be interactive. So automatic and interactive process has to be taken place in order to do the attribute relevance analysis. And based on the number of attributes that we have selected, we should also reduce the attributes. Like we have seen in the previous concepts, I said we have already come across this attribute relevance analysis when we are discussing about the attribute induction. So the number of attributes are reduced based on the requirement and based on the analysis that we are going to perform. we are going to compare two or more tables or two or more we can say two or more databases contents are compared, and based on the relevance we are going to reduce some of the attributes. That reduction of attributes will be done, which makes us too easy to understand the patterns of the data. So these are the reasons we are going for attribute relevance analysis. And what is this attribute relevance analysis? It is a statistical method which we use for the pre-processing of data. Pre-processing, as I said, preparation of data. So you will pre-process the data, you will prepare the data for the processing, for the further processing. So that in pre-processing, what are the things that are carried out? We are going to apply the filtering process, which is not needed or which is irrelevant, that the kind of data will be removed, and what is strong, which has strong correlations between the data. Those kind of attributes are kept. Okay. Next, through these statistical methods, we are able to maintain the rank and the association between the relevant attributes. Okay. Next, these particular attribute relevance analysis can do the tasks like analytical characterization and analytical comparison. The comparison between the attributes and the characterization of the attributes for the relevance process is carried out. What do we do in the attribute relevance analysis? Like we do in mining class comparisons or in attribute oriented induction, in this attribute relevance analysis also, we have some certain set of tasks to be carried out. First, the data will be collected. Then we will generalize the data. Then, based on the generalized data, available data, after the generalization process is carried out, that the generalization process is also analytical generalization. Then we will use a statistical measure called information gain. That information gain is a value which will give us the information about the relevance of the data, or whether the data is relevant to the particular model or not. That relevance can be identified with the information gain. So the information gain will be carried out. It will be find out that using that information gain, we are going to identify the relevance of the data that we are going to use, or the attribute that we are going to use for our analysis. And apart from the available data, we will sort and select the most relevant dimensions and levels. So from the available data, we are going to sort and select the most relevant attribute. Here, what are we going to do? We are going to compare the attributes, and which are not relevant, which are irrelevant, those attributes will be removed and the relevant attributes will be kept for the further processing. So likewise, the sorting and the selection of the most relevant dimensions of and levels are carried out. Then attribute oriented induction for class description. In this, on selected dimensions levels, we will apply some cube operations like drilling and slicing in order to identify the relevance of the data. Next, relevance measures. There are different methods to identify the relevance of the attributes. So those relevance methods are information gain ratio, Gini index, and chi-square contingency table statistics, and uncertainty coefficient. There are different methods in order to identify the quantitative measures of or relevance measures. which will identify, which will find out whether the attribute is most relevant for the data processing or not. So all these methods are applied over the attributes only in order to identify the relevance of the attributes. Okay, so there is an approach. The first one is information we were talking about in the relevance measures. In that information gain, that is ID3 method we are telling. That ID3 method we are going to apply over a decision tree. This we are going to call it as information theoretic approach. So here what do? We are going to construct a decision tree, and that decision tree is going to have list of number of nodes, and each node represent a specific quality. The internal node tests the attribute, whereas branch corresponding to the attribute value, and leaf node assigns a classification. This is how we are going to follow. The internal node tests for an attribute. Nothing but in our decision tree, whatever the nodes we are going to have, every node, the root node, then the corresponding child nodes, and those corresponding leaf nodes we are telling, leaf nodes. Although all of them have a specific meaning, all of them are tested over an attribute. Each internal node is tested over an attribute. See, here we are going to have the attributes outlook, temperature, humidity, and wind. These are the four attributes. Now, the what we have to process here is whether, based on the weather conditions given here, outlook, temperature, humidity, and wind. These are the weather conditions given here. Based on these weather conditions, whether the person is able to play tennis or not, we are going to identify. This is our test condition. Play tennis, yes or no. You have to identify. So what are we going to do? Based using this ID3 algorithm, we are going to build a decision tree based on the training objects. Okay. Then rank the attributes with information gain measures. So we are going to test the given data. We are going to construct a decision tree. This is one method. We can construct a decision tree. Okay. And generally, the number of test cases that are used to classify the object decides the height of the decision tree. So here what are we doing? Our conditions at a condition is whether the person can play tennis or not. And what are the given weather conditions? Outlook. It is the temperature is humidity and wind. And outlook is one particular attribute. Temperature is another particular attribute. Humidity, wind. And these humidity, wind are also another set of attributes. Now, out of all these four attributes, which attribute you are going to decide as your root node, and which attribute you are going to use as your child nodes for that corresponding root node, that will decide. So which attribute? So here you are going to use information gain. Based on the value of information gain, you are going to decide the attribute which gives the highest information gain. That attribute will be selected as the root node, and then remaining attributes will be applied the information gain. Whichever attribute will give the highest information gain will be the next child nodes, and then the next, and then the next. Likewise, we are going to apply the measures, relevance measures we are going to find out, and those relevance measures will be applied in the construction of the decision tree. So here we have taken outlook as our root node. If the outlook, these are the properties of the, or we can say values of the outlook. Like here it is said, each internal node tests an attribute, and each branch corresponds to an attribute value. So here each internal node tests an attribute. This internal node testing an attribute. See this outlook, these are the values for outlook. Outlook is sunny, overcast and rain. When it is sunny, then we are going to check the humidity. And humidity is having two values, high and normal. If the humidity is high, no, you cannot play the tennis. If the humidity is normal, yes, you can play the tennis. Here the conclusion. Each branch corresponding to an attribute value. Here the branches are corresponded to the attribute value. This attribute value sunny, sunny is corresponding to a branch. And each leaf node assigns a classification. This humidity is assigned to a classification here, high and normal, yes or no. Likewise, here outlook. Outlook, when it is overcast, yes, you can play the tennis. When the outlook is rain, even in rain also you can play the tennis based on the wind conditions. If the wind is heavy, no, you cannot play the tennis. If the wind is weak and it is rainy, yes, you can play the tennis. So totally, we are going to identify whether the person can play the tennis or not, and especially on what conditions he can play the tennis or not, on what weather conditions. So this is how we are going to construct the decision tree. Okay. Now we are discussing about the relevance measures, right? In these relevance measures, how are you going to calculate? These are the set of formulas to calculate the information gain, entropy. Okay. So yes contains a set of tuples and class contains a set of values. Okay. Next, the information measures. To classify any attribute arbitrary tuple is given this I of S1, S2 and so on. Sigma of Si by S log base to Si of S. S is nothing but the set of tuples on which you are going to, or from which you are going to identify the information measure. This S1 and so on number of, also you are going to select the list of tuples. Over those tuples, you are going to apply this formula. And the entropy is calculated for the set of attributes. The attributes with in many values A1 to AV. The entropy is calculated using this formula. Whereas information gain is, so information gain, based on the information gain, you are going to decide whether that attribute can be um, a root node or a branch node. The value, the attribute which has the highest information gain, that attribute is going to be the root node, I said, isn't it? So that deciding of the attribute, the place of the attribute is decided by this information gain, and that information is gained calculated using this particular formula. So here the information measured is calculated from here, entropy is calculated from here. So when you know the information measures and entropy, then only you are going to apply the gain, information gain. So in order to calculate the information gain, you need to know, decide first on which tuples, on which class you are going to apply. So you are going to apply or this particular information gain over or outlook or over some other attribute that is given there, on humidity or on wind, where you are going to apply. Are you going to apply over temperature? So all those four attributes will be applied this information gain. And those values, the attribute values, and those tuples that are all, as many number of tuples are there, those many number of tuples will be calculated with information measures and then entropy. And finally, using these two formulas, we are going to calculate the information gain. Okay. So another example of analytical characterization. So here what are we going to do is, the task that is given is mind general characteristics describing graduate students using analytical characterization. So we are going to identify the graduate students. So for this graduate identification of graduate students, we are given a set of attributes: name, gender, major. I think we have done this already in the previous example, the same thing. Okay. See, these are the measures that we have calculated. Generalized attribute A. Next, UI, nothing but attribute analytical threshold for AI. Whatever the attribute that you are going to select for that particular attribute, concept hierarchies we are going to define, and then analytical threshold. What is the threshold value that you are going to give for this particular attribute? Range of values. Next, TA, the generalization threshold. Usually, attribute threshold will be 2 to 8, whereas general characteristics more than 10, around 10 it will be. Generalization threshold. And now the R stands for the attribute relevance threshold. So how many number of attributes you are going to take? So these are the metrics that are given. Now, what do we do for the analytical characterization is, first we will collect the data, then analytical generalization, then relevance analysis, then calculate the expected information, and finally we'll calculate the information gain. And then we are going to construct the initial working relation, and finally we will perform the attribute oriented induction. So this is what we will do here. So first, our target, when we are going to collect the data from the out of available data, which is our target class and which is contrasting class, and which is not target is called contrasting class, that we are going to identify. First we will identify the target class. So what is our task? Our task is given to identify the graduate students. So ultimate our target class will be graduate student. What is our opponent class? Contrasting class, undergraduate students. If the available data, if there are any students who is undergraduate, then they are not included. They are going to become the contrasting class. If the data is having the target class information like graduate student, that will be our final class, target class. Next, analytical generalization. In this analytical generalization, what are we going to do? We will do three tasks like attribute removal. So in this list of attributes, what we have done in the previous class, we have discussed, we are going to remove some of the attributes. What are those attributes? Out of the name, gender, major, birthplace, birth date, phone, and GPA. Students, since I have discussed already this concept in the previous class, I am going to just give the overview of this. So what are we going to do? We are going to remove some of the attributes which are not relevant for the further processing. So we removed name and phone there. Name and phone number. Next, the generalization process is done. In those generalization process, what are we going to do? We generalize the major, birthplace, and birth date, and GPA. These are the four attributes we are going to generalize, apply the generalization process. And finally, for the relation, output relation, we are going to accumulate the counts. We added count values. Counts are added because based on the given relation, based on the, or the tuples which are going to be generated after this generalization process, we are going to identify the number of tuples using their count. So count will be is another attribute that is accumulated to the given data, or the obtained data, we can say, obtained table. Okay. And then the candidate relation is identified based on the gender, major, birth country, age, range, and GPA. These are the list of attributes that were added to our final output table. These are going to be as final for our analytical characterization. Gender will be there, major will be there, because they are more general. Gender is having only two values. Major, based on the, if he is a graduate student, obviously he may be having, like we say, MCA, MBA, MCom, MSc, MSc chemistry or MSc computer science. Okay, birth country. We are going on, we are selecting only three regions: North America, Canada, etc. And age range, we can put it to 20 to 30 or 25 to 30, and GPA. Okay, so this is the analytical characterization. So the candidate relation for target class, it is graduate students, for graduate students. Look at this: male under science major and in the birth country as Canada as their birth country, and age range between 20 to 25, and having very good GPA. They are having, there are 16 members. And like female with the science major and born in a foreign country, age group between 25 to 30 with excellent GPA, there are 22 members. Okay, so likewise, we are going to have totally 120 graduate students available from our database. Okay, totally 120 students are there from the database, which fulfill our target class, that is graduate students. So when we identified this, we also got the candidate relation for the contrasting class, that is undergraduate students. Totally undergraduate students are of 130. So here the male, he's a male with the science as major and the birth country in a foreign, and the age range less than 20. So what we said, 20 to 30 is our age range. And the GPA, we have only excellent and good, very good. Okay. Next, birth country, foreign, Canada, North America, so on so. And major as a science and engineering. Anyway, we have discussed this in the previous class, I said, right? So age range is this, and GPA. So the person who is a male with the science as major and the foreign, whose age is less than 20 with excellent GPA, totally there are 18 members. And total number of undergraduate students, likewise, we are going to have 130. When you see the age range, some way or the other way, they are not fulfilling our criteria. Some way or the other way, they are not fulfilling our criteria of graduate students. So from the database, when we do the analytical characterization, we identified the sequence of steps of data collection and analytical generalization. We identified there are 130 undergraduate students. And here we are going to apply the relevance analysis. So the classification process is carried out here. So there are two values, 120 and 130. This is graduate students and this is undergraduate students. So for this, we are going to calculate the I. What is meant by I? Information measure is calculated here. The information measure I is calculated here and it is identified to be 0.99. You know the formula, it is given in the previous slide. that is I is equal to I of S1 S2 is equal to, we look at this formula. This is the formula we have applied there. Okay. Next, based on this information, we are going to calculate the entropy. So entropy for science, major, business, we calculated. We identified it to be 0.918 for science, 0.982 for major, that is engineering, and for business it is. And this is the number of graduate students, and this is for the number of undergraduate students. Okay, the values S11, S12, S13, S21, S22, S23. These are the values for the undergraduate students. This is for the graduate students, and finally we got the information entropy value. And so here we are going to calculate the expected information required to classify a given sample. Yes. So entropy of major. So here for graduate students and undergraduate students, the entropy is calculated, and based on that entropy value 0.7873, we identified we calculated the gain ratio. The gain ratio of major. Gain ratio of major is I minus E. I is information and E is information measure. E is for entropy. It is identified to be 0.2115. So likewise, we are going to calculate the information gain for each attribute. And for all the attributes, gender, birth country, major, GPA, age range, whatever the attributes we have included, for each attribute, the information gain is calculated and it is identified to be this. సో మనకి ఇక్కడ ఈ టేబుల్లో ఇచ్చిన ప్రతి అట్రిబ్యూట్ కి మనం ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ గెయిన్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసాము. క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేస్తే మనకు వచ్చిన వాల్యూస్ ఇది. ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ గెయిన్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసిన తర్వాత మనకు వచ్చిన ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ గెయిన్ వాల్యూస్ ఇవి అనమాట. జెండర్ కి, బర్త్ కంట్రీకి, ఏజ్ రేంజ్ కి, జీపీఏకి, మేజర్ కి ఆల్రెడీ మనం క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసాం. మేజర్ కి 0.2. సో వీటిలో ఏది ఎక్కువగా ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ గెయిన్ వచ్చిందో దట్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు సెలెక్ట్ యాస్ ది రూట్ నోడ్. అలాగా మనం కంటిన్యూస్ గా ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ గెయిన్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసుకొని ఫైనల్ గా డిసైడ్ అవుతాం. సో ఇనీషియల్ వర్కింగ్ రిలేషన్, హౌ ఆర్ వి గోయింగ్ టు కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ ఇనీషియల్ వర్కింగ్ రిలేషన్? ఇక్కడ ఏం చేసాం మనం? we will remove the irrelevant and weak attributes. సో మన క్యాండిడేట్ రిలేషన్ లో ఇర్రిలెవెంట్ వీక్ అట్రిబ్యూట్స్ ఏంటి అనేవి మనం ఐడెంటిఫై చేసి వాటిని రిమూవ్ చేస్తాం. సో లైక్ వైజ్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు డ్రాప్ ది జెండర్ అండ్ బర్త్ కంట్రీ. సో మన ప్రీవియస్ రిలేషన్ లో వి ఐడెంటిఫైడ్ దట్ ది జెండర్ అండ్ బర్త్ కంట్రీ. జెండర్ చూడండి, బర్త్ కంట్రీ, వాట్ ఆర్ దేర్ వాల్యూస్? సో దే ఐడెంటిఫైడ్ టు బి మోస్ట్ irrelevant. Their gain ratio is not approximate. So మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నాం? We are going to drop the gender and birth country. Okay, and then we are going to construct the relation with the following attributes. So when we remove those two, what are left is major, age range, GPA and count. So that's how the initial target class is constructed with the graduate students. And then we use this relation for the attribute oriented induction. Okay, so this is about the attribute oriented induction. Sorry, this is about the attribute characterization. Do you have any doubts, students? At least I can get one answer, I think.
No, madam.
Total 50 students are there.
No, ma'am.
One second. Fifty students. Okay, 51 participants వచ్చారు. Ma, if you don't have any doubts, you can leave the class.